Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever really stopped to wonder what's going on inside your computer when you're clicking away, typing, or watching a video? It feels like magic, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain. We're taking a tour of the digital workshop that powers your entire digital life. Let's jump in.
So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to meet the brain of the whole operation. Then we'll take a look at its workspace, the digital desk. After that, we'll dig into the permanent archive, where everything is stored. Then we'll see how all these parts working together affects performance. And finally, I'll give you some tips on how to keep your own digital workshop running like a well-oiled machine.
I mean, really, have you? It's this box we use every single day, but most of us don't know what makes it tick. Understanding these core pieces isn't just for tech geeks. It's actually the secret to getting the best performance out of your machine. So let's start with the star of the show.
All right, Section 1, the computer's brain. Let's meet the master craftsperson, the one doing all the heavy lifting and all the thinking.
Okay, so this is the central processing unit. You've probably heard it called the CPU. This is the main worker in our digital workshop. Every single time you open a program, click a mouse, or hit a key, the CPU is the one that's actually carrying out those instructions. It's the engine, and honestly, it has the biggest impact on how fast your computer feels.
So how do we know if our worker is any good? Well, there are two main things to look at. First is clock speed. Think of this as how fast one worker can move. And modern CPUs are insanely fast. We're talking over 3 billion operations every single second. But, speed isn't everything. That's where cores come in. This is the number of workers you have. If you're multitasking, browser open, music playing, documents up, having a team of 4 or even 8 workers is way, way better than having just one super fast worker trying to juggle everything at once.
Section 2, the digital desk. So every great worker needs a place to work, right? A bench or a desk, or they can lay out all the projects they're currently working on.
And that workspace, that's your RAM, which stands for Random Access Memory. Think of it as a huge desk for your CPU. When you open an app, you're basically pulling all its necessary files out of a filing cabinet and spreading them out on this desk so the CPU can get to them instantly. The bigger the desk, the more programs and files you can have open at once without things getting messy and cluttered. But here's the crucial thing about RAM, the real catch. It's volatile. It's a temporary desk. The moment you cut the power, poof, the entire desk is wiped completely clean. Everything on it just vanishes. And that is exactly why we need another, more permanent place to keep all our stuff.
Section 3, the permanent archive. So if the desk gets wiped clean every time, where do all our files, photos, and programs actually live? Well, welcome to the workshop's library.
This is your mass storage drive. This is the workshop's permanent filing cabinet. It's what we call non-volatile, which is just a fancy way of saying that when you save something here, it stays here, even if the computer is turned off. All your documents, your operating system, your games, your photos, they all live here, safe and sound.
Now, you'll generally find two types of these filing cabinets. The classic one is the hard disk drive, or HDD. It's basically like a tiny, super-fast record player with a physical spinning disk and an arm that reads the data. The newer kind is a solid-state drive, or SSD. This one uses memory chips, kind of like a giant USB stick, no moving parts at all. And the difference? Oh, it's night and day. An SSD is ridiculously faster. Seriously, upgrading from an HDD to an SSD is probably the single biggest speed boost you can give an older computer. Okay, Section 4, Performance Factors. So we've met the worker, the CPU, we've seen the desk, the RAM, and we've explored the filing cabinet, the storage drive. Now let's talk about how they all need to work together to get anything done efficiently. You see, a truly fast computer is all about balance. It's a team effort. You could have the fastest, most skilled worker in the world, a great CPU, but if you give them a tiny, cluttered desk, not enough RAM, they're just not going to be productive. And all these areas of the workshop need to be connected by wide, clear hallways. That's the data bus, so information can move back and forth without getting stuck in a traffic jam.
Have you ever had so many browser tabs open that your computer just slows to a crawl? Well, here's what's happening. You've run out of desk space. Your RAM is full. So your computer starts using your permanent filing cabinet, the much, much slower storage drive, as an overflow desk. This is called swapping, and it's a performance killer. It's like telling your worker they have to sprint down the hall to the library for every single little piece of information. Of course things are going to slow down.
Section 5, Maintaining Efficiency. Look, you can have the best hardware and the most skilled workers in the world, but if the workshop is a complete mess, it's never going to be efficient. So let's talk about a little digital housekeeping.
Here are a few really quick and easy tips. First, close programs running in the background you're not using. They're just taking up valuable desk space. Second, actually empty your computer's trash can. Those files are still taking up space in the archive until you do. Third, try to keep your desktop clean. A cluttered desktop can actually use up active memory and slow things down. Fourth, run a good antivirus. Malware is like having a pest in the workshop that's constantly getting in your worker's way. And finally, if you have one of those older spinning hard drives, an HDD, defragmenting it is like neatly reorganizing your whole filing cabinet so things are way easier and faster to find.
So there you have it. It's not some dark magic. The secret to a faster, happier computer is really just understanding the relationship between the worker, the desk, and the filing cabinet. Knowing how these pieces fit together gives you the power to make your own digital workshop run beautifully.
And that brings us to the end. But I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Thinking about your own computer, your own digital workshop, and knowing what you know now about the worker, the desk, and the archive, what's the one component you would upgrade first to get the biggest performance boost? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.
Congratulations on completing the module. Continue learning with Salyvan Academy.